Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And we're going to be reading out of Deuteronomy. We're going to start at verse 12. Deuteronomy 8 and verse 12. We're going to start at verse 11. Beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God, which is Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, when thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget the Lord thy God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint. Right? So that's talking about the water of Meribah, right? When the Israelites were complaining that they didn't have water, and then Moses struck the rock with his staff twice, and then it came out water. And verse 16 is the point. Who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. Right? So I was just reading this and applying this today. When we look at manna, right, it says, which thy fathers knew not. We could apply this today. I was meditating on it a little bit. We could apply this today to how different people have different walks of life, right? Different people have different portions in life. So if you have a portion that's been given to you that you're not exactly sure where it's headed, or you're not satisfied, right? It's a portion that you don't know of, right? You have to think of it like this. The Lord is humbling you, and that he is trying to prove you, right? Because he will do thee good at thy latter end. So you have to face adversity, right? And I'm going to get this second precept. This is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach 2 and 5. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. I'm going to reread that. For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Right? So, gold, in order to purify gold, in order to set it right, it has to first go through the furnace. Right? So that's the tests that we're going through daily, right? It's a thorn in our flesh, right? And another precept I was thinking of yesterday is Acts 14 and 22. Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So, we're only going to enter the kingdom after much trial and tribulation, right? So, think of it like a classroom, right? And our teacher is Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. We cannot pass the class unless we study the course materials and we pass the tests. What you name a class that you can pass without passing the tests in the class? There is none, right? If you fail the test, then you fail the class. But in this class, you're not going to be able to retake the class, right? And one more precept, and Ecclesiasticus again. Right. And I'm going to start. This is Ecclesiasticus 6, and I'm going to start at verse 22. For wisdom is according to her name, and she is not manifest unto many. Right? So right off the bat, not a lot of people will have wisdom. Give ear, my son, receive my advice, and refuse not my counsel. And put thy feet into her fetters, and thy neck into her chain. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. We have to do this with wisdom. We have to be bound under wisdom. Whether that's reading the scripture all day long, whether it's going on the highways and byways, something that you don't want to do, something that you feel like you're forced to do, right? Verse 25, bow down thy shoulder and bear her, and be not grieved with her bonds, right? So even if it's something you feel like you don't want to do, but your spirit is pushing you to do it, then you have to go ahead and do it and be not grieved. Verse 26, come unto her with thy whole heart, and keep her ways with all thy power. Search and seek, and she shall be made known unto thee. And when thou hast got hold of her, let her not go. And the main point here, verse 28, for at the last thou shalt find her rest, and that shall be turned into thy joy. Turn to thy joy. Then shall her fetters be a strong defense for thee, and her chains a robe of glory. For there is a golden ornament upon her, and her bands are purple lace. Thou shalt put her on as a robe of honor, and shalt put her about thee as a crown of joy. My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught. Meaning, if you really want wisdom, then you will get it. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Oh, Salakia. And if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding. And if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Right? Stand in the multitude of elders, and cleave unto him that is wise. Right? So I could go on, but the main point is that we have to be tried in the furnace, right, to come out as pure gold. So whatever we are right now, whatever trials and tribulations we're going through right now, we have to put ourselves under the fetters. We're going to get the definition for that. A chain or shackle for the feet, something that confines. So we have to be put under the fetters, the shackles of wisdom, right? We have to be bound by wisdom, addicted to wisdom, in order to reach our end goal. Having the robes and having it as joy, having it at our dispense, right? If you want to be wise, then there's a price to pay, which is going through the trials and tribulations. So with that, I'm going to say endure until the end. And Kum Yasharala, Shalom, until the next video. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh.